What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of The Goodcast Show. Now, today I have a visionary educator. Now, while working as an English lecturer back in December of 2000 and being a mother of 4 young children, she discovered a necessity for an English medium Islamic school with quality teachers, syllabus, curriculum, and facilities in Malaysia, and thus ventured into the realm of preschool education, and Genius Outlet was established. Now, 24 years on, my guest today is the founder and executive director of Gains Educational Group, Sandian Berhad, one of the most reputable education groups in Malaysia, with a whole range of international and national school institutions from preschool, primary and secondary, teachers academy and education infrastructure services. My goodness. Gains is the holding company of Genius Care, which focuses on infant care. Genius Outlet with 82 centers in Malaysia and Indonesia, mind you. Idrisi International School with 2 campuses in Setia Alam and Johor Bahru. Sekolah Tinta. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so honored to welcome my guest today is teacher Zaliza Alias. How are you, ma'am?
Great. Happy to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. Now, I'm a big fan of entrepreneurship. I love it. I also will be making the foray into business soon. So before I do that, right, because my vision for myself is similar to what you have now, which is you are sitting at the head of a table of a group of companies. You have many businesses. You're global. I mean, it's something that I truly am proud of as a Malaysian, and I hope I achieve as well. Now, but my question is, how did you reach this point from leaving as a lecturer back in December of 2000?
Hi.
Hi. Take your time.
I think it starts from the heart and intention as a teacher, educator. I've never really seen myself as an entrepreneur, as businesswoman, that sort of thing. For me, I'm a teacher, So I look at what is the need out there, So every time when we embark on the journey of, say, opening an international school, and after that opening like Sekolah Tinta is a model STEM school, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and maths. Right. I see what's the need. I look at people around us. I look at the things that happen around us, and instead of asking who should do this, I look at it and say, hey, why not? Why not we do it? Why not we do something about it? Same thing with Genius Outlet. When we started, we as in, I started, we as in, the whole company. Yeah. So
what was the size of the team, if you don't mind me asking, when you first started?
The size of the team, it's actually myself with the assistance of my very supportive husband. Okay.
Who's here, by the way?
Yeah, he was around just now. Yeah. So, I look at it like for my children, at that time, I need something that's with Islamic values, because I care about character building, and with English as a medium of instruction, or emphasize on English. And I don't really see, I was talking about 23 years ago, 23 years ago. So couldn't really find such, especially with well-designed facilities, cheerful, with, professional training for teachers. Couldn't find that. So I think that we have to start somewhere. So that's how, I began. And I think the rest is history. But it all, to your question, it all began with the heart of a teacher.
Nice.
Yeah, the teacher can rock the world.
Yes, you can. You're very important. Very, very. The most underappreciated, most important profession in this world is being a teacher. That's what I feel. Now, my next question is, there is this term called flash of genius, where usually they when somebody invents a product, they must detail in their proposal when was the flash of genius, right? That inspired them to build it. Now, you say because you had the heart of a teacher that you did this, but was there any specific moment that you can go back to that made you say, you know what, I'm done teaching. This is what I'm going to do now. Let's make the leap.
That's quite long ago. I think as a mother, the flash of genius, you call it.
Yeah.
I think it begins as a mother. I wanted something for my child, and I, go from one preschool to another. I I'm a fussy mother. Kiasu
Yeah,
mother.
kiasu, yeah.
Fussy kiasu.
Yeah.
So, not that I can do it better, but I think I can start to do it better. There's a difference between starting to do it better. Somebody should start something, like, as I said just now. So I suppose that's the flash of genius.
Wow, fantastic. No, I do like that, because I was talking to you before this as well. And when you said that, I admire how such a big business has been created on such a small but pertinent reason, which is I want better education for my children. It's so awesome. I'm really, I hope I achieve your level of success one day. Now, I must ask this because, again, I'm being selfish here. I want to know for myself, right? I don't care about my listeners today. It's all about me.
Yeah. Actually, you should begin from yourself first, and when you want to do good for something for your children, that means you have to do good for others, for their friends, for the people around them.
Definitely.
Because our learning circles connected. It's from home, but then how about when they go out? How about when they meet the community? All have to be wholesome.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Now, I want to ask you, what would your advice be to budding entrepreneurs today who are like at my stage, who want to make the leap into setting up their own business? What would you advise us?
Well, I'm not sure whether if I have a good advice, but what I did, actually, we just bulldoze. Yeah, it's a mind of a conqueror kind of thing. If you believe in it, like, oh, I see that island. I think that island is good. We should all go there. All right, like, let's go and let's do it. And then think about it later.
How to conquer that island? Yeah.
Like, you just have to have that mindset of, that's what I want. That's what I would like to do. Yes, that's it. That's the one.
Okay.
But how you're going to go about doing it? Well, you find a way. But at least you know what you want first.
Okay.
Sometimes you just don't want to be, if you're not clear, maybe entrepreneurs, right? Let's say you just like, because, I want to have that big house, because I want to be that entrepreneur, that title, that big car, and then that's not clear. That's not the goal. So if you have a big car, so what? In fact, actually, that's not the aim at all until today. I think the intention has to be clear. That's the most important thing. That where you want to go.
Awesome. I hope that is helpful to all of your budding entrepreneurs who want to make the leap. Me too. I'll be taking that as I make my next step in life. Now, let's go into education. Your business, your schools, the Genius Outlet Schools, I guess, was one of the first few that actually promoted Islamic values using an English medium, which I think at that point was still a bit unheard of. What made you make this choice to use English as the main medium?
Right. You see, my background, I have a Bachelor of Education and also TESOL, right? So that's what I was looking for my child. So I couldn't find it. I'm repeating the same thing here. I couldn't find it, because somehow at that time, when we say Islamic or Tadika Islam, Islamic preschool, it's normally something which is not very academic. It's not something that's fun, not really emphasizing on play, storytelling, colorful, cheerful programs. Maybe back then that's not something that people look at. But maybe because my background as a mother, educator, and because maybe myself, I had that kind of childhood, I feel that that's something that the children shouldn't be deprived of.
Okay.
So that's how I started with Islamic preschool that's emphasizing on English.
Okay. Now, if you look at today's landscape, you see that this question is being debated quite heavily in the news, right? We're talking about reintroduction of the DLP, the dual language program, and all that. And of course, we've heard certain politicians and ministers and all that. And I'm not asking you to comment on politics because you're very clear. You said you don't want to talk about politics, and I completely understand that. But do you face any kickback from the community when you are teaching Islam using English, as opposed to what we hear in the news, whereby the implementation of English is always contested? in the fear of losing Bahasa Malaysia as the national language or the whole national identity?
No, I think it's the other way around.
Okay.
I think people are very receptive and very welcome. The idea of introducing, another second language or emphasizing on the second language. We're not losing our bahasa. In fact, we have to go back to the reality, and that's what people want. See, when we talk about system, the one that knows best are parents, what they want for their children. We may think it is from the ministry, from the people up there in the office, but the one on the ground who really knows what they want are the parents. So they know that the reality. I myself, speaking of myself as a parent, so I know for myself that that's what I want for my children. I want them to be able to be conversant in English, also in Bahasa. And then they should know to read Quran. All right. I don't think there should be any question of you can give a fancy name, DLP, whatever name. But at the end of the day, reality hits when they go to when they go to the real world, to university and go to the industry. They need both.
Exactly.
You need both. And who says you can't appreciate the language just because you are emphasizing on one language? Languages you can appreciate as many. In fact, like for example, my son, he is also by himself learning online, learning French. I didn't know that until recently. And it's okay.
It's just a language.
It's just a language. It's just a language. It's a form of communication.
Exactly.
And why should we think that emphasizing on another form of communication, another language, will actually make us, less proud of our culture? And in fact, I think we should cherish and embrace various cultures.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with that. I think you need both in the real world. Speaking of the real world, I think there's a perfect segue to this thing that I heard, and we spoke about it earlier as well before the start of this chat. You once said on a BFM podcast, you said grades should be a tool and learning should be the goal. I love this. Believe me, I turned into a big fan of yours after hearing you say this, because I couldn't agree more. I'm a parent myself, and it really frustrates me when I see parents nowadays turning their children to the only thing that defines them is what grade they get. Never what they read, what they learn. It's only about the grade, right? Now, when I was in school, if I can look back, one of my regrets in life is, I wouldn't say regret, but one thing I wish I did differently was, I never learned the things that I actually need today. Number one, financial literacy. I never knew that. Well, our science stream so amazing, But actually, the art stream had topics that I wanted to learn. I had to go out and learn by myself now, like accounting, auditing, finance and all these very key concepts now. So do you think that perhaps this age-old system of science stream versus art stream has basically come to pass? It's obsolete, and instead we should adopt a more hybrid system in order to equip kids with what they actually need to survive in the modern world?
Oh, okay. BFM, that was like so long ago.
Yeah. I did my research.
You did your research. Yes. What I was trying to say there, actually, we shouldn't put our children in boxes.
Yes.
You are A, you are here in this box. You're B, you're here. You are D, or you're out of here. You're not this part of this boxes that we appreciate and that we feel there's hope. To your question. If they should be hybrid, as in other words, no streaming, no science or no arts. I would say I don't think it makes sense to have streams though for me, because in international school, because we have Idrisi International School, right?
Yeah.
So that's a pathway from Genius Aulad, then you can go to Sekolah Tinta, which is national curriculum. And then Idrisi International School, the international curriculum. So I'll give you an example, the international curriculum. There is no stream there. But, so in year 10, basically the students will choose their subject. Okay, so they will choose the subjects. And year 11, and when they finally go into the IGCSE exam, they have the choice which subjects they want to sit for exam. You see, they have learned all this knowledge. Like you say, you feel missed out, not learning this, not learning that. So they have learned already those knowledge. But it's not necessarily that they want to sit or they must sit for the exam, because exams, again, grades, it's not necessarily mean how you should define yourself or how others should define you, because the most important thing, you are equipped with that knowledge when you need it, right? But if you want to score straight A's, then you know which exams you want to sit in, right? So that's another story. Yeah. So self-directed learning. So in other words, when you say hybrid, I think what you mean is self-directed learning. That means for the child to choose what's their interest, what's the kind of content, what's the capacity that they have, what's the kind of assessment that they would like to sit. If they are more into art, so their kind of assessment will have their prep work to prepare stage 1, stage 2. So that's along the way, So it's not like exam based, like on an exam day. So what kind of assessment? What kind of environment? So this plays a role. It's not just one kind of exam sitting. That's how we should look at to put in a stream, because I think sometimes you may because sometimes children do not know what they want, and when they are put in one stream, sometimes they feel trapped in that stream, right? And when the time comes for them to sit for the high stakes testing, they feel like, I'll just memorize this, by heart, but it's not something necessarily that I'm interested in.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that it's totally wrong though, because we also can teach our children, right? Like, in order to get where you want to be, you have to do things that you don't like.
Yes, you don't like.
Okay, so it's fine. We can tweak it that way and teach our children, like, it's okay for you to be in whatever stream. But the trap can really be a trap, because who knows, you actually aspire to be a pharmacist.
Exactly.
You don't really want to be a doctor, but you don't really quite understand the pathway. Talking about pathway, I think another important thing is to talk about how we should support parents. Okay, because when we talk about the LP, science stream, art stream, we rarely ever touch an important stakeholder in education, which are the parents.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Parents are often seen as maybe, public. It's a public.
Yeah.
But they're not just public.
They're key stakeholders.
Yeah, then they're key stakeholder in the education. So I believe that as parents, we need to know what's the education direction. What's the direction? What's the support? What's the support that I can give? What's the support that I can receive? What's the support that my child can get? Not support does not. Somehow in our country, when we say support, we always think that support means financial. It's not just. It's not just financial. When we have a clear direction, information, knowledge about the direction, I believe that as parents, we know where we are going, where we want to, how we can support our child. Sometimes when the direction is not clear, we just go with something that's easy, something that was like how it was in the 1970s during my time. That's just looking at the boxes.
No, but speaking of the boxes, and I want to still stick on this topic, because it's something that resonates very strongly with me, because when I was growing up as a student, of course, it was because of a teacher, which I will touch later on. But, I've met a lot of people as well along the way who got trapped in boxes, right? Who got trapped in boxes and who weren't really, who ended up who just followed the pathway, and to a point whereby they seem depressed because that's not what they want to do. They love something else, but they have to do this, right? When you talk about parents let's talk about the teachers, or maybe the school first. Let's talk about the school first, right? The entity. How do you think schools should maybe adapt to find out the strength of each student that they have, so that to allow them to better reach their potential, as opposed to just one blanket way of examining them, and then if you fail this, that's it?
Okay. That's called differentiated instruction.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
As you can tell, I'm not a teacher.
Okay. So in other words, we look at how we can attend to the 40 students in our classroom. Imagine a public school, 40 students in the classroom, and that's just one superhero with a cape.
Yeah.
All right. And they are expected to know each child.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you are one fussy parents as well. So you're expecting that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're expecting that. You are expecting that this teacher should know every child, so that the teacher can maximize the potential of every child in the room.
Yeah.
You think the teacher can do that?
No, I tell you what. Let me answer that.
I'm not saying cannot.
Yeah.
I'm not saying cannot. But do you think the teacher can do that?
But it happened to me. It did. I mean, let me tell you something. I mean, teacher, I must say that, I mean, firstly, this is the most nervous I've been on a podcast because I'm second guessing my words, but when I was growing up, I was lucky, I was blessed. I had one teacher, for example, her name is Puan Serjit. I won't forget it. She saw something in me and she took me and then she trained me in speaking, right? She thought I'm a good communicator. She took me in, trained me, and then I ended up winning a state championship. But it was her seeing that and then applying and helping me through that I was like, oh, I can do this now. I can go on stage, right? I've seen even some of my sport idols, my all these people I follow online. They talk about their teachers, how one teacher saw something and then brought that out. It changed the life of that person, and
Yeah. I can't deny that. I myself too. I have that one teacher. I think everyone will have that one teacher, but putting the expectation that one teacher can understand and know each child, that will be quite overwhelming. Maybe that one teacher saw you, but might not really see each and everyone in the classroom.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah,
to be fair.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a good teacher anyway. That it's not, instead of just ignoring you, but actually brought you up. Like up there in winning the championships and all. So, yes, the teacher can do that to that question. I ask you, then I'm answering it. Okay, so
is this your podcast?
So the teacher can do that, but with support. Okay, just now I talk about support for parents, right? Why I like to touch about this support for parents, support for teachers, because in education, when we talk about education reformation, education transformation, we rarely ever touch about the support for teachers and parents. Now, support for teachers, again, the teachers need to be supported with the right ratio, for example. The right ratio. To begin with, the right ratio actually, what the ministry has given to us as a private school. Why parents go to private school? Because we have the right ratio.
Okay.
We cannot exceed the ratio and the classroom size and whatever.
What is the ratio, if you don't mind me?
The ratio, if it's for the primary schools above, it's one teacher and 25 students.
Oh, wow.
And we normally don't go above that. We normally go around 20 students.
So basically government schools are above the ratio.
Not all, of course. There are some. We understand they have their limitations and the teachers are great in the public schools. But sometimes, to be fair, the ratio might actually very overwhelming for them. We have to understand teachers are human. Okay, so they have the mental health, well-being that needs to be taken care of. To begin with, the ratio, and then the support of resources, support of ongoing training. So these are among the things that we need to look at, how teachers can be supported. We can't just give an instruction, that superhero instruction, that, okay, now we are going to do inclusive education. Inclusive education means, like what you mentioned, the teacher know every child, so you have in the classroom, not necessarily the same level. Some children are more advanced, some are still struggling to read, for example, but the teachers should be able to vary the way they deliver the content, the way they deliver the assessment. Yes, they can do that, but they need support. It cannot just be with instruction.
Fair enough.
fair.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm speaking for the teachers.
Yeah, no, I get that. But okay, so let's leave the teachers aside for a bit, because I want to spend one entire segment on them. I'm very passionate about my belief in teachers being very important, the most important actually. Now, I'm a parent too. Of course, you have 4 children?
4.
My goodness. Okay, lovely. So one thing I noticed about modern day upbringing of children, right, is we tend to... I see parents giving them too much affirmations for doing almost nothing.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Everything is good.
Everything is good.
Great.
And which is why when my daughter, I had an argument with my wife. I said, I want to send her to government school. Why? Because I wanted her to face racism. I wanted her to be bullied, because I feel that the real world you need to be prepared for it. And people are not going to be kind to you in the real world. There's going to be, you have to toughen yourself. But my wife won because, she's the wife. And so, yes. So she said, look, let's send her to a Chinese school. I said, okay, fine. I agree with that because I didn't want gadgets and all that in the classroom. Anyway, but the thing is, I notice now is that parents, when the child does very little, they give affirmations. And what happens is, when they go out into the real world, they don't get those affirmations anymore. So there is a disconnect between what they were brought up with and the current real world. So do you think that in education, in modern day education, one of the reasons why people are calling this generation the snowflake generation, right, is because, in my opinion, please share your input on this, is that education only focuses on knowledge. It doesn't focus on character building, right? And to mitigate, so basically what I'm trying to ask is, do you think the education should change to evolve to mitigate parents giving too much affirmations, being too kind-hearted to their children, and help grow the personal characters of students to prepare them for the world?
Okay, I think I get the key word there about the affirmation.
Yeah.
Saying good, great, amazing for everything.
Everything. Gold star, here you go. Yeah.
All right.
Do you do that?
No. I think that's the term that is coddling. We're coddling. Yeah, we're coddling, right? So we are actually trying to coddle. We're trying to protect them from anything that's harmful, negative. So we'd like them to live in a positive words, positive environment. No, I don't quite believe that affirmations, positive words all the time. But rewarding the children is very important. And the behavior modification is important. So when you reward a child, they know why they are rewarded. That's important. You can actually give that positive words, but the most important thing is the why. If they know why, then that's fine. It's not like I get an F, for I have not written this F. So instead of we say, no, it's okay, it's fine, you're doing great. But they must know why you say doing great. For example, you say, I saw you have done a great effort. Great effort. You study all the time. You sacrifice your play time, for example, which we don't encourage actually, because they should play. But you recognize the efforts. So you can praise the efforts, but you shouldn't praise for getting that fail results, right? So you the key word here is the why.
The why. Okay.
The why. So as long as they know which part is good and which part is not, then they know that what needs to be done. And why is very important, because we will teach them the critical thinking, the reasoning. They know what need to be reasoned out. And if they fail, then they need to know what need to be improved. What is it that they did wrong? Was it careless mistake, or is there any problem with the rubrics, how the questions put, for example, or maybe they don't have interest, and we can't say that fail means bad all the time, because we need to know what is the why.
Okay.
What is the why? For example, we can't say this is quite classic, okay? Because like engineers outlet being preschool, parents are generally, this is all across the country or across the world, parents always expect the children to read as early as possible. Like 4 years old must be able to read, right? But truth is why? Why do you need that? Why? Because if your child at 4 years old can sing well, can share the stories well, being very bubbly, what's wrong with that? But not being able to read yet. So you must know why you need it. Okay, yeah.
But just a follow-up question on that. When you're talking about this, I cannot help but go back to my past, and I'm sure you as well. Our parents were not like that, right? There was no why or what. If you did badly, then you got it, right? And in fact, a funny thing, in a previous interview I did with a teacher, her name is Dr. Rafia, and we actually spoke about this, and people responded. The response was so overwhelming. They were like, "Oh, me too." We talked about teachers throwing our books from the, not doing homework, stand outside class, stand on table, and all this kind of stuff. Why has the approach to students not doing well or not achieving what they are supposed to, you could say, why has it changed from what we went through? And I'm sure you went through that as well, Cikgu. I'm sure you went through that, and to now, to this way of, everything is negotiable, there is no consequence. Do you think it's healthy?
We have to look at it as not just the teacher or the parent and the child. Okay. Because there are many stakeholders, there's many factors around it. For example, as a mother, when I want to order food, I go online. And ta-da, the food is on, at the gate now. All right, somebody go and pick up, and wow, we have the whole feast on the table. Right? That didn't happen before.
No.
Right? There's many things, that's different now. For example, if I want to buy something, instead of, if something's broken, okay, I think those days we ought to really glue it. We got to repair it properly. Take your time and make sure it's done. But now, not just parents, the whole community, will see it as like, it's cheaper to buy, for example.
Yes, to buy a new one.
It's cheaper to buy a new one.
And faster, less hassle.
So instead of, if you want to eat chicken those days, you need to, go to the market and then pluck. For now, it's not like that, right? So there are many factors. I'm not just saying that the only factors, but there are many factors. So as a result, the generation, maybe my theory is, my this is just my opinion, okay? Maybe those many factors that results in the generation, the generation response or upbringing of a generation will be different. Like if you talk about the new generation now, I think mine is baby boomers. I think now is what, Gen Z. Gen Z? So Gen Z now. Okay, so Gen Z now, they just know when you get any gadgets, you just know how to,
swipe up.
You just know it's just by instinct or by whatever,
they learn in the womb.
Inherent nature. They just know it, right? Unlike us, I think those days, my time, I have to learn this is mouse, and how do you click? There's a training on how to click the
Excel
mouse.
Training, yes.
Yeah, Excel training, how to click the mouse. Now, no, you just give the mouse. And so I think there are many factors why we should go with explaining, because children also nowadays like to question. Right? They will question you. As young, as tiny, supposed to, they will question you. Why? And then they want to know the out of the universe answers. Right? So I think those days we didn't really ask.
No, we didn't.
We didn't ask. If your parents say no, that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think.
So I have to change my ways then, I think. I have to amend my ways.
So we are not actually pampering or coddling the child by not by explaining the why. We are actually also together with our children actually learning to reason out, have critical thinking, so that both actually can have good relations instead of just I'm giving you this instruction. Listen to me because I'm your mother.
Okay. Okay, I got to change my ways.
Me too. I'm learning all the time. There's always learning and unlearning. It's not just at every stage, like for example, my eldest child, she's married now.
Okay.
So even at that stage, I have to learn as a mother. Okay, now my style should be this way.
Yeah.
After certain age, okay, now I should be, I should react it this way.
Yeah.
It's different.
It's
always a learning journey, even
curve,
for us as parents.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm learning something now. Now let's go to something more macro. Let's talk about Malaysia now. As you know, recently Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim said that he called the state of education in the country the worst in ASEAN. Quite a powerful statement by our Prime Minister. What do you think are the issues with the Malaysia's education system currently? Where did we go wrong?
The results, our PISA results, is not something new. Actually, it was out, in fact, in December.
Okay.
Not sure why it's suddenly being highlighted, I think in February, January?
Recently.
Very recently. Never mind. But it's nothing new that our PISA scores has been always below the average level.
Always.
It has always been below the average. Okay. But I maybe I'm not really in a position to really comment much on that. But I'd say that achievement is not necessarily be evaluated based on the PISA scores. We see countries, there are many factors, there are many factors, but we can take that as a benchmark. The most important thing is not thinking, how bad we are, but to think of, like you say, what have we done wrong? What could be the SWOT analysis for that? What was what is and what was our weaknesses, our strengths? We can't do everything. But at least I think we shouldn't actually take that PISA score as something that's that define us. I think I would like to really emphasize on what I said from the beginning. That is support for parents, support for parents, support for teachers. Because I think whenever we talk about such as thing like critical education level, critical PISA scores. I don't know if you have found it, but I've never seen anywhere written about support for teachers and support for parents.
No, I haven't found it.
So I think that will be quite crucial. That if we have not done that before, and that is something that we should do, because we cannot do the same thing and then expect new results. Yeah.
Okay, I perfect segue to what I want to talk about now, which is teachers, right? There's something I'm very passionate about. Firstly, I would think for a few reasons. Number one is because being a Hindu, for us, we if you ask any Hindu this, they will tell you that we have a list of priority in life. So it goes mother, father, teacher, then God. So God comes after a teacher. So that's how we are supposed to live our lives. And in my experience, I told you one story. There's another story I like to share is I had a teacher, I forgot her name. I grew up in a very small town.
Could you forgot?
Because it was, I think I was standard 1, I can't remember.
Okay.
And I grew up in this very small town called Triang. I don't know, it was called Mentakap in Pahang. And so we had a school, and that school only had 6 classrooms. Each classroom for each darjah is 1, 2, 3 sampai 6. And so I was the only non-Muslim, non-Malay in that school. No one else, right? So whenever there was time for agama class, I would leave. So one day this teacher comes up to me and says, hey, just sit in, why don't sit in? And I did. And this Ustaza taught me one thing which I carry on even till this day. She said, and I even learned Islam to the point I could recite prayers and all that, Al-Fatiha, everything. And then she taught me, she said, whatever knowledge you have is equivalent to dipping your finger into the ocean. And the water on your finger, that's the knowledge you have. And that sentence till today is why I read, and I always assume I don't know everything. So that's how powerful teachers are, okay? Teachers are crazy. They are superheroes. Honestly, let me tell you, they are superheroes, right? And I completely agree.
They are superheroes, but they need support.
Exactly. So you have under your group, one of your arms, you have a teachers training arm, which I really like, right? You are improving the supply of teachers in your own ecosystem, which I love. I don't think that the current way we select teachers is right. I don't think everyone can be a teacher. When I talk to you, I get the sense of passion and love for your job. Even before this, I spoke to Dr. Rafia, who is also a teacher, and I got that sense from her. I don't think all teachers share that. They just look at it as a career. Should we change the way we select the teachers who enter our education system? Should we focus on glamorizing this position and giving it the respect and the salutation that it actually deserves, as opposed to making it seem like just a career to choose if you don't do well in your studies.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. That's why I use the word superhero there. Yeah. But don't overburden the superhero. Because you see, maybe I go to the preschool level. Okay, preschool level. Sometimes teachers are seen as a helper, a maid. Especially if it's a daycare center. But they shouldn't. They are teachers. They are They are nurturing each child. See, the thing about whether we glamorize it or we put it in a high pedestal, I think we've done that. We have put that high pedestal. At the end of the day, is the whole ecosystem. It begins from the whole ecosystem, from where we start, from the primary, secondary, and so on. Do we actually look at teachers being the pathway where people want to be? Or along the way, we actually make them see that teacher's career to be a teacher is actually just a small ambition.
I think that's how we see it now.
So I think it starts from preschool, because I've noted somewhere here. If we are serious about education, we should start by supporting the early childhood education. Support the early childhood education. When we support, early childhood education in our country is not really supported. It's not really like really being fully supported. When we talk about education system, it's always about the tertiary and secondary, or maybe at the SPM. We glamorize the SPM results, but we don't really talk about the early childhood that much, So when we want to glamorize, we should begin from there. We show that the strong support is given from there for these educators at early childhood level. Then along the way they will bring in their mind that this is honorable. This is really something that they aspire to be. This is something that is given much respect.
You talk a lot about resources in terms of giving support for teachers. Now, what sort of, even I think I was reading, there was one professor, Tan Sri Dr. T. Mariamutu, who's the adjunct professor at the School of Education and Cognitive Sciences at Asia University. With regards to what you even mentioned, the PISA score, he said, I would not want to blame the teachers because we already have many who are resigning because they cannot take the load. So when you have statements like this, that teachers are resigning because they cannot take the load, where are we going wrong in the way that we are treating teachers? What kind of support can we give them to ensure that this kind of issues are solved in terms of them resigning, in terms of improving their workload?
I think it goes back to the earlier part when I touch on the direction needs to be clear. The goal needs to be clear. You see, whenever we have, sorry to say this, but whenever we have new ministers coming in, we have something new to add up. This is quite, known. If we have a new announcement of something to be added, we add the burden to the teachers. Let's say, somebody talk about, we need to talk about road safety. Road safety, children nowadays, they play bicycle, they need to know about road safety. Tara put it in school.
Okay.
We keep on adding, and we have so many subjects, so many subjects. And in the end, it feels not clear. If the direction is clear, if the education direction is clear, simple, clear, that even any aunties in the remote village can understand, then I think it will be easier. It's not about the workload. I think it's not about workload, but it's about the clarity. You feel the workload when you are not clear. I think in any career, you don't mind having to work, to have much work, as long as you're clear, because then you will feel the passion. You know why you are doing it, the why.
The why.
You know why you're doing it. Then you can actually plan your workload accordingly. But of course, anything that is over expectation that put on the teachers, it is a result from something that's not clear. I ask you now, if you can answer me, because you have children, you're a father, right? And you've met people from education. Can you tell me what's the direction of our education?
I do not know.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm worried. Yeah.
It's not that there is no direction. There is. And we have good people in the ministry, but maybe it's not reaching out yet for every people to understand. Maybe it's not clear enough for everyone to understand.
Fair enough.
Even for me.
Yeah. Even you as a teacher.
Even for me, hence, but we're private, so we make our own direction. In other words, okay, this is what we want to focus on. Like, for example, Idrisi International School. Okay, so, we know what's the strength of our students, so that's what we focus on, Yeah.
It's interesting that you bring that up. You have started this entire education group, right? And it's, my goodness, it's grown so huge. And which, by the way, congrats again on that. But one of the reasons I think, and maybe please tell me if I'm wrong, is that also that now I notice there's a tendency for parents to prefer private education, international schools, as opposed to government school system. A lot of the people around my circle, I think 99% of their kids are in private education. Why do you think parents, no, I wouldn't say why parents, but what has the government school been doing wrong? When I came from the government school, you came from the government school system. Why is it that people are preferring private education to the government system? What are they doing wrong?
Well, it is a fact, actually. I've seen the statistics. It's growing exponentially, the preference for the private. Private can be not just international school. It can even be like for the Muslims, sending their children to Sekolah Integrasi, for example, or Tahfiz or somewhere, So it's private, basically. I think it's not really about there's something wrong with the government school, with the public school, but because now we have more choices and now parents would like to have more autonomy. Unlike our parents those days, as long as I send you to school, you are in school, I'm all right. That you're supposed to, you're just supposed to swim and succeed, right? Reach to the shore.
Don't trouble me with all these small details.
Don't trouble me. But now parents, would like to have more autonomy, and they see the world. Unlike parents those days, now parents see the world, and they have their aspiration, what they want for their children, and various. It's not necessarily because they want their children to achieve higher in the society. Sometimes the reason for them sending to a private school because they want their children to be happy. Sometimes it's just that, as simple as that. I just want my children to be happy, to love learning. Simple as that.
Okay.
So there can be various reasons. So I wouldn't really say, I'm not saying this because we are, like in on camera now, but I think to be fair, I think the teachers in the public schools are working very hard and they are good teachers. It's not about the system. It's not about the curriculum. It's about the autonomy, the preference that parents have nowadays.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair
and
enough.
The children too.
Okay.
Again, some parents, they just, they want their children tell them what they want, and the parents try to fulfill it.
Of course. Yeah, that's true. I've seen that as well. I also go through it a bit, especially my daughter who has me wrapped around her finger. Anyway, now I want to go into parents now. Before, I want to get the idea. You mentioned about early childhood development. And I completely agree with you. You're the teacher. Of course, I agree with you. I wouldn't dare go against what you said. No, but it is important for a child. I think as an individual, my early childhood is very important. Even to adulthood, I think it's so important. Now, in your opinion, what should parents do to ensure that their children have the right early stage development?
From birth, you mean?
Maybe say from one. Of course, birth.
Right.
Yeah.
As simple as love and respect.
Okay.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's what the children want from us. We don't have to be a teacher at home. I used to homeschool my children,
Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you do that? Because you even mentioned that in the call. Why did you do that?
Yeah. Again, the preference.
The preference.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are many reasons. I can't say that all my children are the same. Everyone has their own unique needs. So I have my own reason for each one of them, right? So it's different. And I think at the end of the day, although I homeschool my children, I don't become the teacher. I don't duplicate school at home. I don't duplicate school at home. It doesn't work that way, because they see me as a mother. Mother is a mother, and what do you want from your mother? You want the attention, you want the love. You want the recognition, the appreciation as a mother. Not a teacher appreciates in a different way, right? So as a mother, I think it's just about that. And if you happen to homeschool your children, okay, it's also that. So how you support them for every subject, for every program, it depends on how you plan. It's not necessarily that you have to be the teacher. How can you cook? Make sure the laundry is done. And then at the same time be a teacher at home. You only have 24 hours.
Yes, it's tough. Now, I want to go full circle back to your business, which is your school and your entire education group. I was always curious when I was reading your profile. I had this question in my mind. Did you know things were going to turn out like this when you first started?
No, I don't know. I don't see anything big. You mentioned to me just now, it's big. Until now, I don't think it's big. I think there are always something bigger to be achieved, and I think because I never look at it as a business. This is me as a teacher. Do I know? No, I don't.
No, you didn't know. No idea. So what is the future then? You are now in Indonesia. You're very established in Malaysia. You have a very successful franchise model as well. What's the future like for the education group?
Okay, interesting. We will be in Qatar as well.
Really?
Yeah, for the international school.
Okay.
I think what's the future like is to see what is something. This is something that we are working on, our think tank.
Okay.
Who
is involved in this think tank?
Yeah, our think tank can be anybody. Even the auntie, the helper can be our think tank. We can ask their views. Sometimes they see the children and they can give us their views. So we are thinking of what is actually needed. Because the danger is we've been like Genius Outlet, we've been around for more than 20 years. The danger is when we're complacent, when we think that we are good, when we think that our children, we have produced, the testimonials of successful children who can read well when they enter Standard 1, they can speak well, but we cannot be complacent. So I think what we're looking at now, I think hence why we're here, and how we get in touch. Part of the reason is that's one of our think tank member, called you, because we would like to see how we can actually do something different. Not do something different for the community, the society, hence it has an effect on the children as well. So I think it's all about the ongoing improvement. Among the things that we do, for example, with the teachers, we have program like Read for the Children in the hospital. Read, there are children in the hospital, and we have reading program for that. And then this is especially for Genius Outlet. And then we have First We Need Love. This is an annual thing where parents and teachers, we work with the nearest community center, how we can support the community center. It can be as simple as creating a reading corner, or help cleaning their drain.
Okay.
But we get the children as well, the parents to be involved, for them to see that, you see, school, I know it's just a preschool, a tadika, but you have a duty, not just for your child. You have to show your child that you have a duty for others as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we are actually try to think, what would this current situation, what would be other needs? What would be something revolutionary that we can do?
Fantastic. My goodness, you truly are a Malaysian epic case of a successful business. I'm so proud of you. I really am.
I'd like to share with you. There is this program that we do for free. If you'd like to have. It's called Crayon Loves Ibu. Okay. Crayon Loves Ibu. Okay. So we do that at any companies who can call us during lunch hour or cafe. We can do it at any cafe. We've done it for a couple of years. No, not couple of years, even before pandemic. So it has been, a few years already. So what we do is we crayon. So it's art program, really art jamming, you call it, art jamming. But we teach them through that art jamming how to teach children reading.
Okay.
How to improve their literacy development.
Okay.
And I tell you, parents, especially mothers, because we call it Crayon Loves Ibu, purposely put the word Ibu there, is such a stress reliever for them. Those who have joined this program feel such a stress reliever.
Yeah.
Because you see, the expectation, again, when their expectation is not clear, they will put the whole burden on the teachers and the children to think that, my child must read as early as possible, must speed. After how many months, how come my child cannot read yet? Things like that.
Yeah.
But they don't see that literacy is not about the text. It's not just about the text.
It's about comprehension, right?
Even when you look at the pictures and you read it with your children, you color with them. That's also part of literacy development.
And you're right. That is so relaxing because when I do that every evening when I come back from work, my daughter and I will be playing. That is the most relaxing activity ever.
Right.
God.
I like to do that.
Yeah,
I love doing that. I'm
like
addicted to it. Like when I do it with parents, it's a stress reliever for me to be able to share that.
Yeah.
And I think, we have, why I like to touch a lot from the beginning, talk about parents, because I think we have a lot of stressful parents nowadays.
Yeah.
Why? Because they don't feel clear. As simple as they're not clear that why do they need their children to read as early as 4 years old? Why?
Why? Yeah, exactly.
Why?
I agree with you. The parents put too much stress on their children. I think just enjoy it as you go.
Because they are stressful themselves. They feel that, okay, I need to compete with the cousin.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that. You bang on the money. I hate that. I always tell my wife, I said, don't compete. I started speaking when I was, I think, 4. But look at me now. I can't.
Send
I can't
my regards to your wife. We can have crayon together.
Yes. There have been so many times where I've just continued coloring while my daughter has lost interest and she's left. And I'm like, where is she? No, I have one more question, and I know we come to the end, but I want to add it. Just one more thought I had when I was reading about your profile. The thing that I have a question about Islamic teaching, because your center is Islamic teaching via English, right? I've always thought that religion and education should not mingle, especially at an early stage. This is just please share your thoughts on this. Now, when when I sign my daughter up for certain classes, right, I always make sure that it's multiracial because the real world out there is multiracial, right? I assume based on your courses, your education, you attract majority a Muslim crowd, right? Do you think that having a monolith of people, of just Muslims, when you're around that, puts the student at a disadvantage when they go out to the real world?
There's pros and cons.
Okay,
there's pros and cons, but
and I'm sorry, I'm not insulting. It's just a thought I had.
No, that's very good. That's a very good question. Pros and cons depends. What's your preference, right? So we also have a conventional one. Like the one in our Idrisi International School in Iskandar Putri, Johor Bahru. That one's conventional. So in other words, it's multiracial. Okay. It is multiracial in an Islamic school, but of course they are Muslims, right? See, the thing is to be fair. Why we have an Islamic school, because there are lessons that's not just a subject. We are looking at Islamic education as the whole process. Like when they eat, they will recite the dua. When they go to the toilet, then they have to there's certain adab or what do you call it, ethics on how you should do it. How you should clean and all that. So if we were to have multiracial, then we will be imposing this ethics on them, then it would not be fair, right? So we will tell them, no, because in Islam says you have to eat with your right hand. So it's different, right? Because that's what the ethic in Islam. And as a Muslim, this is what we want to teach our children, but I can't impose it on your children, right? So it's not fair.
Not fair.
So, and then that means I'm putting your children at the disadvantage then, yes, in terms of how we should actually mix with other races. And we will have those programs, the community program that I told you, read for the children at the hospital, all that we actually be multiracial. Community program. We also have program like Crayon Loves Ibu, when we have it in the cafes and stuff, that's also multiracial. But when we teach the children all this, we have to teach them what is, for them. So that's the purpose actually.
No, it's kind of, it's kind of, because you are such a good teacher. And I hope you branch into, so that every student can actually benefit from that. We need good teachers.
You know what? Surprisingly, like our Idrisi International School, the branch in Johor, we have multiracial, okay? But there are parents, this is by their preference again, who actually don't mind. They want their children to learn Arabic. This is their preference. They choose to learn. They are okay to learn Arabic.
Yeah,
because it is another language.
Exactly.
Yeah, and happened the parent used to be in Dubai, so he finds that it's good.
It's good,
my child know another language. Go back to the DLP method.
The DLP method. This is TLP.
Yeah, but that's language. It's not the ethics in Islam. So I think the most important thing here is whether it's an Islamic school or Tamil school or SJKC or anywhere. At the end of the day, is the character building, is to teach them. Why is it that when we have the majority in the school are Muslim, for example, why do we need to teach them something that's hatred? It's not that's not the purpose, right? When we have, say for example, Tamil school, it's not about teaching, this is the better one compared to others. No, that's not the purpose, right? So I think as parents, that. But sometimes, we get into the political sentiments, trying to tell us the other way around. I think we are good with our neighbors, and on the ground we don't have any problem with that. But these kind of sentiments.
I think just to add to what you said, in my personal experience, I've always felt that I have become closer to my religion when I went out and learned about other religions. It's a weird thing. It's like, there's a saying, the only way for you to come back home is to leave. Right? The same thing. I think parents should not be afraid of their children learning other religions, learning other languages.
Like your ustazah.
Yeah, exactly. And I forgot what's her name also, but if you're watching this, hi. But no, I think it's a powerful thing if you have an open mind and accept. But honestly, I really hope you set up something that is for everyone. I really hope you do. Just a suggestion, because I think we need quality. If you talk about nation building, you at the ground is teachers, that they are the important ones. Yeah. So we've come to the end, Cikgu. I hope you've enjoyed yourself, and I always do this to all my guests. So that's your camera, and please share your closing remark. Maybe share your advice to teachers and parents on how to educate the future of the country. What would you say?
Okay. What do I say? I would say at the end of the day, our children matters. Our children matters. If whatever that we want to do, whatever that we as parents or as teachers that we aspire to do, or for plan for them to be, sorry, I feel that it's just a bit rubbish. I don't have to talk to camera.
Okay, then you talk to me, Cikgu. Talk to me.
I don't talk to the camera. I'm a teacher. I don't talk to camera.
Yeah, you talk to people.
You cut this.
Cut it. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, I would.
Okay, I tell you what. Then maybe just round it up by your advice to parents. What should they do now to help their kids achieve their potential?
Okay, that's good. What's my advice to parents? You know your child the best. You know your child the best. Not the system, not the teachers, not the syllabus, not the exams, not the grades. You know your children the best. And therefore, believe in your children. You have no other choice but to believe in them. To believe in them. And they need that. They need that sort of affirmation, actually, that kind of affirmation, yes. Okay, they need that. Somebody believe in them. In the world where you can't really go anywhere to have someone who keep on trusting you, you have to keep on trusting them. Learning is a journey, So they have their ups and downs. But if we start not to believe them, we will actually bring them, sinking into something that, I don't believe that I can do it, I can achieve it. So regardless, sometimes, you don't know what's the issues. So when you don't know what's the real issue, sometimes it can be we ourselves as a parent, and we are not always right. We're not always we need to apologize, all the time because we're not always right. Okay. So yeah, at the end of the day, keep believing in your children that they can achieve.
Thank you. Perfect way to bring this session to a close. I completely agree. Now, so I hope you've had a good time, Cikgu. How did you feel?
Oh, great.
Yeah. Thank you so much again for coming on. Thank you for getting in touch with me. This has been a pleasure. I really admire what you've achieved. I admire you as a teacher, and wish you nothing but the best in your life.
Same here.
Maybe soon you'll be. So after Qatar, what's the next? Are you looking at Asia now? Is that your
It's not my country, actually. It's about what. What?
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean what?
Yeah, it's just a big question. What is
okay.
this?
What? Okay. Fair enough. I wish you the best. I really do.
It's the so what.
So what?
Yeah,
okay.
big so what,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, I understand. Wish you the best again. And you guys can find out more if you just visit Genius Outlet's website. They have some amazing programs, and I'm really happy what they're doing. I can't wait to see the progress of this group and see them conquer the world. Now, so that's all for today, folks. If you guys have any thoughts, any questions, any comments, please share on our videos. And if any questions for Cikgu, I will pass it to her and she can hopefully give a response. Till next time, please remember to share, subscribe, and like. And then I'll see you soon. Take care. Thank you. Thanks.